Hey everybody, welcome back to This is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
So we're going to get right to it. There's a shit ton to talk about.
Yep.
You know, and
I need a beer for this.
Yeah, George, PRM, RPA, Pod 100 all aside, like there's the mention of those because we got some shit to get down to, because if you were under a rock in the last 12 hours.
Beer.
Yeah, I need that. I think we all need this at this point. Good Lord. Break it up. Okay.
Fuck this shit.
No shit. So, number one, so Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about Hewitt real quick.
Yeah, and I wanted to, because I had a thought about that before we got into the real thing to talk about.
As you all know, if you've been listening to this pod for longer than 5 seconds, you know we are strong believers in Black Lives Matter and equality for everyone. Mm-hmm. And justice for everyone, and the appalling behavior, and thankfully he's had a lot of support come out for him, and this is great. And Ashton Hewitt's obviously been at the forefront of it in the rugby community,
big leader.
And the disgusting Twitter account that messaged him and tagged him, like it should not be okay to do that on social media. And I think Twitter will take better action than we have of Zuckerberg, because fuck Zuckerberg. I think Twitter will take better action than he would. So hopefully we see that.
But
Paris has a statement, I think.
But here's the thing: even if I know if you've downloaded enough and you've listened enough, and you're still listening, obviously you're not at least 100% against Black Lives Matter. Maybe you just don't quite understand it. I want to. And maybe you pass through this, but if you're listening, whoever needs to hear it, we've been doing this for basically since George Floyd. So, so since since this past March, Memorial Day area.
May makes more sense. Duh.
And we have had some new incident to talk about almost every single week, and sometimes we had to just cut them off and be like, okay, we have these things happen. We'll pick out one of them or something.
Yeah.
Like these are not isolated incidents. This is systemic. And it has led to the next thing we're going to talk about, which is, hey,
man,
insurrection. Woo!
Right. I could not believe,
fuck?
This is just absolute bullshit. And call it what you will. And this is what fucking pisses me off when people vote for idiots like him, and they say, oh, my 401k, my finances. Fuck your finances. Fuck your 401k. This is about people. You have to consider people. Your 401k does not live, and guess what? You don't get to take it with you either. So fuck your goddamn money and consider people. Like I've never been like so against a certain candidate. It doesn't matter what side of the fucking aisle it is in my life. And I'm not that old, but you know what? If you haven't met me, I usually have some pretty strong opinions. And for me to say that is just another level. That's all I know. And I've tried to see down the middle in other candidacy, in other presidents, and in other administrations. I could not hear, and that just my moral compass just goes super haywire with this guy. And this is exactly why. And when people look at me like, you're fucking crazy, you must be, this is not a real thing.
Why do you care so much?
Oh shit, it isn't a real thing. Did you just see what happened? Did you just see what happened today? That is ridiculous.
So here's the thing. And it's because, and I've been saying it for a while, we are not, as much as we want to talk about, and now the proof is here. We're not a first world country.
We're supposedly the best country in the world, and I call bullshit.
We're feudalistic. There are serfs and there are lords who are untouchable by certain, unaccountable to police or law enforcement of any kind. Essentially unaccountable. Like Kelly Loeffler, who thankfully lost, but she has been known to have doing insider trading, all sorts of shady shit. And no, she's unaccountable. The people who got their kids into schools under fake athletic scholarships and whatnot because they were fucking stupid. They got like a slap on the wrist. But some woman who, of course, a black woman who goes, fakes her address so her child can go to a better school, gets like 20 years in prison. Like bullshit like this that happens in this country.
Absolute
and then
horseshit.
we don't have our basic needs met. We're one of the only countries in the world without universal health care. An idea that's as old as indoor plumbing in this country. So not having universal health care is the equivalent of shitting in a bucket in the corner.
Yep.
That's where we are. That's
Yep.
the level of development that we have as a country. And it's disgusting that we've let it come to this. But so this shouldn't be a surprise in some ways, which is sad.
Doesn't mean it's not going to make me angry.
Right. Oh, I'm fucking furious. But this is white supremacy in action. Police. You remember these? So the protests that we saw this summer. Did you see that today? No, the police just welcomed them right in. Said, "Hey, you want to go storm the Capitol?
Selfies with
go
police.
ahead."
Are you shitting me? Dudes were taking selfies with police. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, this is the police are a white supremacist organization, and they were allowed to go up onto the Capitol with a fucking Confederate flag.
Yeah, that shit is not right.
You got it. And the police just let them, and then they let them out, and then they did nothing about it. Like,
it's as good as friggin' walking up there with the swastika,
Right. It's the same flag. They sell them at Trump rallies right next to each other. The Confederate flag, the Trump flag, and the Nazi flag. They sell them all right in a row. And the Blue Lives Matter. That the bastard
is blue lie. Yeah, that's bullshit.
That desecration of the American flag.
That is, and people would shit a brick if BLM had done that too.
Right. Oh well, fucking Colin Kaepernick kneeled.
Yeah, because that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, we'll make a fascist version of the U.S. flag that we'll worship, but Colin Kaepernick kneeling, during the national anthem.
Who he was advised to do so by a Marine, by the way. So all you people that are just like, and why did he's not going to consult every fucking person he knows. He consulted somebody that he respected and he thought. And he thought the best of, and was like, how can I do this in the best way possible?
And he said, "This is how we do it."
It was the one person he knew who to talk to, and that's what he said. So,
and everyone else who has not been a fucking it's time to put it flat out. Anybody who was not a white supremacist was like, yeah, this is fine. This is respectful. But everyone, if you're a white supremacist, that's disrespectful, blah blah blah, because it's a fucking black man with an opinion.
Yeah, they still want slaves here for some reason.
They absolutely. Our prison system is slavery.
It's basically slaves,
The California uses firefighters to battle those fucking forest fires that they have out there. They pay prison inmates like 11 cents an hour to go do that. And once they're out of prison, they are legally prevented from fighting fires. So they're doing that while they're in prison, but then they're not training them to be better citizens when they get out. They're just saying, fuck you. We're not doing anything for you. Like,
that's not news. It's
slavery. Like 11 cents an hour that people die doing. Like, no, that's slavery. Like we do have it in this country. It's time to acknowledge these things. It's not time, these may sound shocking, and you may be like, oh, Ben's fucking off his rocker.
Right.
But people are gonna that's because it's time to acknowledge these. We have not been acknowledging them.
No,
this is where it leads to.
No, it's and it's people that just people think that we're just on these extreme ideas. It's like it's right in your face, man. Like, if you're not seeing it, then we can talk about it. But like, please, take a second to open your eyes.
Yeah, and if you don't see it, I'm not hiding anywhere. Come ask me. I'm on the Twitters. I'm on whatever.
Ain't none of us running and hiding, I promise.
Right. So please reach out if you have questions. I don't care. Like, I will answer them. I mean, I care. I do care. But I mean, I'm not going to be like, I can't believe you asked me the stupid question. I'll be like, okay, that's a good question. I understand. Trust me, I understand. This has been I'm not here. I didn't go from, birth to this. I had to learn.
Yeah. Right.
And we all did. A lot of people need to be doing a lot of learning right now. So please reach out and ask.
Yeah. It's just really, really, really.
And if you have information that we don't have, please reach out and let us know. If we're missing something, let us know.
Yeah. No, let's not be ignorant to information.
We can't ignore these things anymore.
No, it's time to.
And I'm spent.
Yeah, I know.
More beer.
We got we gotta do a show now too.
Yeah, let's talk some rugby for a little bit.
Now to the rugby.
Amuse ourselves briefly.
Now to the rugby. England back to lockdown, unfortunately. Just full lockdown. Elite sport has not been touched yet.
Yet, but
keep that yet in there.
Exeter.
Yeah, fucking hell. God damn it. So yeah, no fans will be allowed, obviously, and that's just where we're at right now. We can't do anything about it. This new strain and the rollout of the vaccine is just really painful right now, just how it goes.
Right. And we don't know if the vaccene will address the new strain yet.
God,
fuck.
I mean, there's all the evidence says it will, but you just never know.
You never know.
So keep your fingers crossed, kids. Player movement. Duhan van der Merwe on his way from Edinburgh to Worcester.
They needed him.
That's a unit right there.
We'll get into why they needed him in a minute, but it's a unit, and hopefully he's a finisher.
Yeah, and Davidson goes to Gloucester as well. So Scotland's going to need some reloading to do up there with their two teams here.
Now, do they do the same thing as like Wales and Ireland, where you have to play in country? Scotland is good.
Nope, definitely not.
It's one of those. I guess beggars can't be choosers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. If you've either gotten your citizenship in Scotland or you have a Scottish, grandparent or parent, then you are eligible to play for Scotland. Doesn't matter where you play your rugby. So that's the upside of them, at least, and that's why Finn plays in France, and Hogg plays down in Exeter, although they both have a shitload of caps between them. But point being, so they're not as dumb. They're not as dumb as they sound. So sometimes.
Like if you're an Eskimo brother with the Scottish person, you you qualify. All right, that's good. Although I don't know that that's right. I'm not going to overthink it. Let me know if that's wrong. I'll apologize. What else we got? I'm hearing some. You've been pinging me about all these blues things, but I haven't had time. There's been other shit to go on. So what are you talking about?
We could be. So we have potential movement from Bath to Cardiff.
Cardiff. Okay,
right. Reece Priestland could be on his way to Cardiff to go home, as it were.
Interesting. You know what? I like it in a couple ways. I mean, Priestland's been good for Bath. No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think they've found their fly half of the future that they want.
They have a couple of guys that they could play there now.
Yeah, I feel like they're grooming Redpath.
I totally would go for that. I'm down with Cameron Redpath.
I mean, this weekend they subbed him in, or they pushed him in.
Yep.
Instead of Josh
Matavesi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so I think it's a good move for both. I think Priest gets to keep playing a lot of rugby, and he'll probably bring along that blue squad to the best of his ability, which he's clearly shown while he's hung out at the Rec. And then they have a new coach potentially on the docket. It's an old friend.
Oh no.
Dai Young.
Oh,
no.
Oh no. Okay. Well, all right. I can mentally prepare myself for that. Have they not seen Wasps?
Before this? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, wait, hold on. Did they not see Wasps? What they fucking just did?
Right. What they did after Dai Young left.
Right. Well, I mean, what they just did this past weekend.
Yeah.
And be like, maybe this guy's not our guy.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's Welsh, and they love the homers over there. And I didn't know this, but Will Rowlands has said he's probably going to play in Wales next year somewhere, whether it's for which club, I don't know.
Right.
I was like, that makes sense.
Does make sense.
And good for him.
They need a lock. Right.
And his contract's up, and their rules say he needs to play in there if he wants to play for Wales. And considering that they had they've just lost Ball, and they're probably going to lose Wyn Jones, I would say they're going to need him. So
they're going to need him at least for a transition.
They're going to be banging down the door to make sure he lands at a Welsh club.
Right. Not that he's a terrible player. I'm not trying to say it that way, or that he's just adequate. He's very, very good lock. Even at the international level, I think he's quite solid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they're going to at least need him for 2 or 3 years until they get their next like Jake Ball and all that going, and their next young studs ready to play at that level.
Right.
He's a good, and Fred steady leadership too. He knows what it takes. Once Alan Wynn goes, he can fill that role adequately.
I agree. I think he'll do fine. And he's obviously a solid player. So good luck to that. Good luck to Wasville in that position. That's not fun. I know they have Launchbury, but he's not getting any younger.
Yeah, so. He's not. No, he's not. Gaskell though.
Yeah, we'll talk about James Gaskell this past weekend in a little bit. Oh man. So that'll be interesting to see how both those pan out for the Blues.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Die young. What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Huh. Talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about the punditry that we've had to experience, and it's sad that punditry and commentary has been such an issue lately. But it's just really painful sometimes that you just have to shake your head and go, "Really, this is what's going on in this world?"
It's a generational thing, really. Is what it is. I feel like, and they're not. They're just what they're used to. Just like, we talk about when we talk about Austin, when he doesn't know the rules, because he's like, back when I played, that was fine. Like, why isn't it fine now? Like,
where do you want me to start, Healy?
But that problem is that goes to a lot of other places, and eventually you just don't connect. It's not about that they have bad comms. It's just that the comms are not for the audience anymore.
No, it's become a problem.
Right.
It's
yeah.
And really, if they wanted to at least solve some issues, keep Ben Kay and Austin Healy off Leicester matches together. Number one, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
Two of them do not help each other at all.
Preferably both of them. Neither of them, but certainly not both of them.
No, definitely not both of them, and definitely not
have one. Have just one.
Yeah, just have one. Ugo's gotten better with Quins. He was definitely very, very biased in his commentary when calling a Quins match, and it was very painful. Law's a pain in the ass, but that's all I have to say about him. It is what it is. He shouldn't.
I'm still not good at identifying.
Yeah, he shouldn't do a Wasp game. That's all I know.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm not like I don't know the history of these people so much, so I'm kind of like,
yeah, well, I'm
nonpartisan like that. So it's it's obviously it's confusing, but
yeah, well, I've been nosing in and out since about 2002. So I've had my share, my fair share at this point, and understand who's who. So yeah, just there's a lot of things that need to. Yeah, and like I said on Twitter, give me Flats all day. Flats is amazing. I love listening to that guy. Don't put him on a Saracens match. He was a Saracen. Don't put him on a Saracens match. But other than that, like, go for it. Like, I love listening to him. He's a riot on Twitter. Just he's
entertaining
a good one.
And connects you to the game. Like, even and as a go back to Healy though, as a coach, sometimes when he says certain things, and I'm like, I don't want young players to hear this.
No,
because he's wrong,
not at all,
and it's bad. And it's like,
you shouldn't be commentating on a fucking scrum. Like, Healy, what do you know? What do you know about a scrum? Like, the only thing you've ever known about a scrum is how to watch it. Go away.
Right. So yeah, it's. But Flats will give you that. If you get somebody who's naturally funny, they'll give it to you straight. Like, because that's what it really is. That a lot of humor is just being like, I'm going to say this, and it's like, oh, nobody says that because I never thought of it that way, or it's like, yeah, we just don't think it out that way.
And I've listened to some interesting guys on certain podcasts.
Yeah, but they tell you good shit,
and it's really fun to listen. Like, I love Ben Kaiser when they do Europe, when he does Europe. It's so fun. He's such a great person to listen to. Guys I wish would be more interested in it, but they've been kind of casted out for reasons X, Y, and Z, which most of which I don't agree. Jason Robinson, that dude would be very interesting to listen to, I think. Don't let him do a Sale match though, because he was Sale through and through for a long time. Although actually they pissed him off, so maybe not. Maybe he wouldn't care.
As long as it's just the one, the other person can keep him in check. That would be humorous though. Like if somebody's like, "Oh, you're only saying that because you're former Sale,"
right?
Like, call them on that. That's funny.
Do that exactly. And then Jason Leonard, formerly known also known as the Fun Bus.
Okay.
I will say front rowers are fun to listen to.
They're
they're
because they don't take it seriously. They understand it's just a
they're
game.
interesting to listen to. Like I'd be interested in like what Joe Marler has to say
and
when
they can
he's
actually
done.
tell you about, like, instead of the nothing gets me more upset than the repeated, oh, no one knows what's happening in the scrum, that the dark arts. No, it's not that.
Ask a prop. They'll tell you.
You need to be, somebody should slap you.
Ask a damn prop. They'll
not
tell you.
That complex. It's hard to learn. Don't get me wrong, but if you want to break it down, it's super easy.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to like get out of this mindset of, oh, no one knows what happens. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
We know what happens. You just don't understand. That's not.
Right.
I guess that's kind of your fault, but not your fault.
But it hasn't been well explained, and it's the easy thing. It's like, as we were saying before about the culture. Like for them, the culture is, oh no, everyone says that. No one understands. It's the dark arts. No one knows what happens down there. But the reality is, no, it
can be done. It can be done. So yeah, let's fix that a little bit.
Right.
Wipe the slate clean. We're good. So we may have sussed out something that could be a long-term answer that we need to find the actual solution to. But the answer is very simple, but the how you get there is very complex. The path to it is very complex. And we were talking about, unfortunately, FRD had another hiccup this past weekend, and as infuriating as it was to us all, there's a deeper problem that we probably need to solve. That's not FRD's problem. It is rugby, and in this case, Premiership's problem, where they need to find a way to not. So Opta, as most of us know, have a monopoly on stats for the Premiership for rugby, really for rugby in general, I think. So if leagues can start to find a way to make stats more publicly available via themselves, then we might have an easier answer where a site like FRD or TRM doesn't need to pay through the nose to get the stats. They just need to. They can pay for other things. They can pay for a better system. They can pay for new features. They can pay for all these things that we want as fantasy sports players, as fantasy rugby players, and we could have that. We could have everything we want, really.
Yeah. Like, okay, it's as someone who, and I don't know how frequently I say this. I don't know if it's too
the
frequently
newspaper,
or not very frequently. Yeah, the newspaper thing, right? I've been doing this for that long that we were, before we did it digitally. And so I've seen this trend from back then till now. I remember when, like they made, you make a mark, this stats are you make them, something interesting.
Yeah.
You make them interesting to the fans, and then you make them mythical or even religious in nature. Like look at baseball; those stats they call them hallowed stats. Like boomers are like jizz over stats. I'm sorry for the the obscenity there, but sorry for any language you may have heard. But like, you talk about, most Hank Aaron being home run king was like, and Barry Bonds breaking that record was heartbreaking that this cheater took that number away from and that lead. And all these, and I remember Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa like chasing the home run record, and football getting 1,000 yards rushing or receiving or 2,000 yards rushing, is a like what's his name, Travis or Derek, whatever, Henry.
Henry, yeah.
Not Travis Henry.
No.
He washed out of the league a while back. Derrick Henry passed 2,000 yards on Sunday. And like, that's huge. They cut away from games to say, look, here's Derrick Henry breaking 2K.
Yeah.
Like they make it a thing, and it makes the game, the fans that much closer to the game. Rugby should do that. I shouldn't have to look up stats to see, or pay for stats to know who has the most meters,
No,
like that should be, they should be marketing it.
I think in they clearly want to use them because they publish those graphics every week. The Premiership does, at least.
Yeah.
So it would behoove them to somehow, some way, find a way to start small
Mm-hmm.
and get and start finding ways to get you can start with the basics,
Mm-hmm.
All right, we want to know meters and we want to know tackles. All right, cool.
Right.
Let's start with that.
I got a good one. It's not meters, carries and tackles. You combine that stat. You say, or you say, here's your carries leaders. Here's the people who are doing that work there, and then who's the tackles, and then you figure out a way to combine them. You say, here's the person. Like, what was it?
Here's somebody going into the contact area a lot.
Right. Exactly. Like this person's like our iron horse of the week, or something like something like really tough.
Yeah.
And you say that, and you give out that award each week, and then that becomes a thing. Like that person did a lot of fucking work right there. And maybe you add Ruck's hit into it, and then you get all three of them together and you put it out. Like, and then you do the league leaders, you put them out, you make sure that when you open to box score, back in my day, I'm gonna fucking
box score,
pull up my pants. Baseball.
You got suspenders there.
If you wanted to know who was number 10th in home runs in baseball, you couldn't know. You could only look up, maybe you could piece it together from American League and National League, but you could only see like the top 8 or so home run leaders. They publish them every day. It would be like, here's your home run leaders, here's your RBI leaders, here's your hits leaders, here's your average leaders. And they publish that like that. And that grew obviously away from there. But like, that was a thing that they put out every day. Rugby could do that. Like things like this, where, instead of and they like you said, they kind of do, but it would be nice to have access to like all the stats so that the fans can really connect to it. Cause numbers help. Numbers drive engagement.
Yeah, they do.
Your marketing people should be able to tell you that.
I almost imagine that somewhere in each club, there's somebody that's taking tallies of certain things that they can probably, hey, can you, would you mind handing us over those numbers too? Yeah, sure. Here, and that start with something, whatever these clubs have been keeping track of. I'm sure there's at least a few things in there. See if you can piecemeal that together and publish that. And then, okay, you got stats. All right, cool. So we got a way to do stats. And, if you want to, there's a way to do it. It's not going to be an easy answer. It's going to be a long-term answer as well. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but it would be very wise of them to go start collecting their own stats, start publishing them
and use them.
And we're talking about, the Premiership and rugby not being a super well-funded game. Well, there's some money saved from you right there. You don't have to pay off to anymore, so, and that's just, I think that's the answer. How we get there, I don't have it right now. I want to get there, but I don't have it. Somebody else has the answer. Please tell us. That would be great. We'll we have a think tank of our own that might have some ideas too. So we'll see. Moving on.
Is that what you're calling my Lou?
No, I
think tank.
I definitely have.
We have our own, but definitely a think tank. Anyway,
I think my thinking seat. It was really unfortunate to see what happened on the match on the weekend. But really, rugby in general needs to get a hold of coaching staff and non-playing staff in general. And there's a lot that happened this weekend that we could be talking about. Yeah, and so there was in general for that it was, so talking about the Sale incident in Sale Gloucester, that shouldn't have happened. And really, it's not the first time. Like my mind went rewind to Munster and Saracens all of a year ago with Jamie George and. A coach barking bullshit at him and making a derogatory comment about his weight. And Jinx isn't like the most, angry person ever.
Well, yeah. Or
and he knows he's not svelte either. So it's not, that's also that.
His fuse is about as big as he is. So if he goes off,
you've done something that's really upset him. Like he's from all accounts, a fairly easygoing dude. So if you've got him wired and fired up, so it's more to the point of just keep non-playing staff off the field.
And my thought went to Joe Marler
from the pitch. Yeah.
like doing the same thing also against Saracens, coming back on. And so all of that shit, like, so yeah, it's funny how like you texted me about the Munster incident and I texted you back. I was like, oh, I was thinking about Quinn's, and it's like, oh shit, like we both had forgotten about each of the ones, but it's
and
like,
then there was even the Exeter incident with
right,
Harry Williams, and that was
Harry Williams did shit.
That was less than ideal too.
Right.
So it's not a new thing. It's something that needs to get under control though, because you shouldn't be allowed. Nobody on the sideline who's going to have zero repercussions. Oh, they're not allowed to be on the touchline that weekend. Fucking cares.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something that baits somebody into getting a yellow card on the field, then there's something wrong with that.
And
end of story.
The thing that pisses me off too is that the barriers are there, right?
Right.
The barriers are there, and when you put up a barrier, to me, that says if you're on the field side of the barrier, and especially for a kicked ball like that, like if you're, whatever, especially at the lower levels, these higher levels, no, that ball that should be almost like arena football, where that's like it's secret area. Once
shit's
you're
live,
that,
don't touch it.
Right. Unless it goes over the barrier, and in this case, the guy reached over the barrier, and that should not have been if you want to give 12 trees a yellow for shoving him, it's the penalty still got to go against Sale for instigating.
I agree.
Ultimately, because it wouldn't have, and then with all the bullshit, like the Marlon Yard bullshit afterwards, that just inciting it. No, it's a horrible way to.
They did review that. They said he didn't do anything, so
he shouldn't have been there anyway.
No, the whole thing shouldn't have happened to begin with.
Right. But then I was thinking that we had two instances and one right in line with what we're talking about with the Sale Gloucester match. We had two instances of potential foul play that led to HIAs eventually, not immediately, but eventually.
Right.
That went not carded, just not even penalized.
Yeah, that's not good.
Wait, was DDP penalized? I don't think he was.
No, they said play on.
They just play on. And what was the other one? Wasn't there the one in Bristol, Newcastle? Or was it Wasps Exeter?
Might have been Wasps Exeter.
Where it was the same kind of thing where somebody got hit and it was not right.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. And then they had to pull that person off for an HIA. It's like, no, if you have a hit, at this point, I think it's if you have a hit that's, and both of the hits were questionable and fucking should have been cards.
At least penalized. God.
At least penalized. But at that point, if someone hits someone in an unsafe deliberately unsafe manner, whether or not it is a high tackle, this or that, like so as to remove the whole thing around the like Dan Dupria incident. It was an unsafe tackle that led to an HIA or an unsafe challenge that led to an HIA. You're binned automatically for that period, because they're going to have to miss 10 minutes. Like even if they're okay, they have to miss 10 or so minutes. You got to go.
Yeah, it's around the changing of the behavior too that's really trying to drive it. And people,
there was no need for that hit.
There wasn't. It was but you look back at the red card that Montpellier got, Immelman. It wasn't anything nasty or dirty, but you can't come flying into these tackles high anymore. You have to have to make the effort to get down, get low, and try and put a shoulder into somebody's hip as opposed to somebody's noggin. Yeah. That's just how it's going to go. And until that happens, we're going to continue to see shitloads of yellow and red cards, and that's just how it is.
Right.
So
but that should be
prepared for it.
That happened when we first brought in the concept of high tackling. Yellow cards went through the roof for a season and a half or so, and then players got better and the coaches got better. It's time for this. You have to get it out. You just have to take hits like these out of the game. And same with the hit on Vanderfleer the other week. Like, got to take these hits out of the game, whether or not they're technically legal. Blah 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 blah. Fuck that shit. They're not safe ultimately, and that's the point of it. It's not unsafe play, so it needs to be taken out of the game.
And people that are, this goes to another point. People that are trying to get the Jackals out of the game don't understand that. All right, so if you take the Jackals out of the game, the only other way you have to get the ball back is to counter ruck, and the counter rucks get vicious. Like the one that Tom Wood tried to employ. And that's what's going to happen. And that's what you're going to see. So Whether
because
like
players get beat too.
Yeah.
It's that's what happens too a lot is when players are beaten and they don't like it and they know they're going to get their reamed out by their coach for it.
You aren't
so they're like, all
telling
right, I got to. I'm not losing this.
I've taken a couple of shots because somebody got beat to the ruck and they didn't like it.
Right.
So they came back into me.
And hey, it's all in the game, but at the same time, as long as it's safe. Right.
Yeah. So
like if you have to make an unsafe play to win, you don't deserve to win.
No. Let's get that. Let's kick that shit out.
And I mean not the game. I mean the incident. Like that ruck. You should not make an unsafe play to win that ruck.
No.
Let's play fucking rugby.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay, now let's talk to let's go to the stuff on the pitch. There was some good stuff this weekend. As much as there was to talk about in the news cycle. Let's go to Ashton Gate. Newcastle eat their first loss of the season. Bristol 29, Newcastle 17. There's some good stuff going on at Bristol. Last I checked.
when would we have thought in the past that a week 5 match between Bristol and Newcastle is like it's not the game of the week, but it's up there.
It was definitely on the card,
and it's a must. It's almost a must win. For these teams, they need the points if they want to finish top 4, and they're both well in the challenge for it. So,
absolutely, yeah. I thought both teams played pretty well.
They did.
Really, there's a lot of things you can look at, but man, that Nalago try was gifted to him. Really, just kind of. It set Bristol off. It really did.
Well, because they feed on that kind of funness, right? They get a little bit of fun going, and then we saw that last week too. Yep. Not a whole lot of not much fun in the first half, and then all of a sudden, fun!
They woke up,
and then it goes.
Let's have fun, boys.
It kind of clicks for them. Yeah, and that's really what it took to kind of break through a little bit. Like, oh yeah, this is what we're doing today. We're playing this style. Like, okay.
Yeah. Excellent stuff from it was good to see like Piatal back. That was a big one for me. They need him in many ways only because depth can be a problem. Him along with beforehand.
They took him off. And when I saw them take him off, I honestly did the no.
Get back here.
And then I realized, oh wait, no, he's coming back from injury. Like,
yeah, he needs some time.
And I was like, yes, okay, we're good.
Maybe that's the way to do.
Yeah, this is the way. Go for it.
And then Mr. Newcastle himself, Mark Wilson, returned for the Falcons, which was a big boost for them as well. I thought, man, that pack row
scored himself a try.
Yeah, and if Vanderbilt and him, and assuming they get Graham back sometime soon, and we talk about
Robinson wasn't bad.
No, he's not been bad at all since.
Although they can move him back into flank if they wanted to. Well,
I think the idea will be they move him back into the engine room there.
Yeah, and with Peterson.
And
that's dangerous. That's a fucking dangerous club right there.
Yeah, this is a good team.
Yeah,
it's a really good team, and they're playing well.
And Flood played decent. I mean, I think Conan has been better.
But Flood's that steady head that you sometimes need. That steady hand that can steer the ship a little bit.
And wait a minute, I got to stop you because I know you want to keep going with this, but I got to give you the props because there was a certain player for Newcastle that you'd been saying. This is the guy
this
is the guy they get the ball to.
I was mispronouncing his name the whole fucking time, but Koki. Yeah. He was I was like, he got that ball and I was just like, go. He had the wheels. 13 on 13 on that one. That was a pretty good matchup actually between he and Rodradra.
It was.
I like that. Yeah, that that's a tough midfield right there between he and Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando didn't show up much on the fantasy scoreboard, but man, that dude is not messing around.
No.
Then their back line, their back three is fairly formidable. So yeah, this team's not somebody to push over. I know Bristol ended up doing the business, but Bristol's also a very good outfit. Callum Sheedy's kind of good as well. So
little good.
So
and Nathan Hughes.
Where the hell has this guy been?
For a couple of years now. Like we're not talking about
exactly.
Recently. This is a long term. This is back. We're talking Wasps days.
Yeah.
Where's Nathan Hughes? Where's this Nathan Hughes been?
No kidding.
this team's going to get Ben Earl back and Harry Thacker.
Right. Oh, I know. And then there's guys that didn't touch the field, like, or weren't on the, they had a fairly new front row.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Max Malin still needs to come back. Like Randall started on the bench.
And Luatua has been on fucking fire.
He's a leader. He's a leader for this club.
But just to go along with that Nathan Hughes thing, like Luatua, I don't remember Luatua making these kind of plays in any recent history. Well, he's been that solid guy.
Right.
This is the flash that we haven't seen from Luatua in years, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean he knows his team needs a spark sometimes, and there's guys missing, so he's just doing what he has to. He knows there'll be other people to pick him up when he's having a rough one. So he's doing his best as captain to make this thing.
He's doing
this thing happen for them.
So good for him.
He's quite a good player. If you hadn't noticed,
I have noticed.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's been on another level. So
yeah, quite. Let's go up to Rico. Wasp 34, Exeter 5. Wow. And I caveat, Exeter were missing some guys. There's no doubt about that. But so's Wasp. And they put a good number on these guys. And Willis came off at Jack Willis came off at halftime on top of that.
Right.
And they don't have Barbary. And this is the kid's been a sensation. So, say what you will. And
they were saying that 12-13 is not their best 12-13 by any means.
DeYoung does not. DeYoung is not in their best 12-13 by any means whatsoever. No. Let's talk about a guy that's had some real struggles adapting to English rugby, and has gotten his quite a massive amount of shit. Even a little bit from us sometimes. Lima Sopoaga has played quite well the last two matches, and I think we'd be silly to not point him out. So if he's coming back into form, and he's feeling comfortable in that 15 spot, this could be fun.
He was also, just for you FRD players out there, he was the top scoring fly half this past week.
I think he was one of the top scoring players.
He was, I think. But
damn,
just he now it may be time, and he's probably a free agent because nobody has been scoring shit.
No, I mean, not in our league.
It might be time to consider, I should say, at least, because the spots on your team are valuable. I get it, but he might be a good stowaway,
right?
At this point, just in case he comes good, long term.
Absolutely, yeah. There's that chance. So London Zoo needs to lock their gates because they've let the giraffe loose again.
Gaskell
for 2.
Yeah.
Who knew? At 6, I mean, maybe he should have been playing 6 the whole time.
Yeah, maybe he should be a 6. Who knows? But or it's just the jersey. You throw him in the jersey.
Maybe something like that.
Anybody in the 6 jersey, in a flanker. You put anybody in a flanker jersey in Wasps, and boom,
there it goes.
They're going to score a try.
Apparently, good for him.
He's been amazing. And although I think he was a flank lock last week when he scored 2.
Yes.
But it was he hadn't scored a try in how many years or something?
And he scored 4 in 3 games now.
Yeah.
You get hot and cold, I suppose.
Right.
Good stuff, dude. I like it.
Tumaga Allen is coming along nicely too. Speaking of people who haven't adapted well. But he's starting. He's looking like he should be. I mean, I think he is in their starting pack now, unless Kieran Brooks keeps it up. But I'm not sure how they're doing.
I thought this is always a tough front row to go against, and I thought Kieran Brooks did pretty darn good against them, and that was a good back and forth between the two front rows. Honestly, I don't think you can say advantage either one in those cases. But I will say, overall, this is the thing that obviously bit them in the ass for Exeter: 15 penalties. That is not a number that Rob Baxter is going to be excited to see.
Especially scrum penalties too. Like this, I mean, and you're right. The Exeter team and especially with Exeter being a team that thrive on earning penalties. Yeah, giving them away. Fuck.
Yeah, not good.
Especially in the scrum. That's their bread and butter is earning those scrum penalties and line out mauls. And yeah, you're right. 15. Yikes.
Yeah, not a good number. Not a good number at all. And they blooded some younger guys, and there's still
Capstick looks like he can play a little bit.
Yeah, he looked really good. Apart from the whole hammerhead yellow card thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he looked really good, and they've been touting him for a long time. So I was really excited to see what he had. Maybe he can take that 7 shirt from Kirsten for a little while.
Yeah, there's times, like a lot of coaches will talk about how it's you don't lose your job due to injury. But there's times when it's a really bad time to get injured.
Yeah, there are definitely times.
And I think this might have been it. This may be if Capstick can keep this up. Yeah, you're right. He may just earn that 7 jersey and be like, look, he's doing is producing. So why would I take him out?
Absolutely. And we've talked about it numerous times. I still don't get Ian Witten, like, especially on the wing. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? Did you not see what Josh Hodge did in 15 minutes?
Yeah,
he did more damage to that Wasp team in 15 minutes than Ian Witten probably has done in his entire career.
Right.
Like, certainly in the last couple of years. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Like, you just have a guy. You might as well just put a jersey out there.
That's what we call a jag. Just a guy.
Yeah, just a guy.
That's all it is. So the mighty Wasps have possibly resurrected their season a little bit more.
I want to bring this up. Sorry,
what happened?
Quickly, and I'll talk about a little bit why later. But Sam Simmons got fucking bottled up by Wasp's defense, which I again, I'll talk about it later. I just wanted to kind of tease that for now. But I did also want to note it that he had a bad match last week, but he still scored 2. This week he scored 25 or whatever, but on the field it was kind of it was all tackles.
Just the same.
It was not
Yeah. If you had him in FRD, you were disappointed. That's for sure.
Yeah. Again, talk about that why in a little bit.
Yeah. Let's go to Gloucester and Sale. Gloucester 19, Sale 22. A bit of a disappointing. I will say, amongst all the bullshit, it was really good to see Josh Bowman back on the field, and the fact that he got the winner. Good on him. The dude's had a rough go in the last 18 months.
It's like you take every reason I have to hate this fucking match and then say, you know what, at least something good came out of it.
At least something good came out of it, and that was it for sure.
Yeah.
And you and I both have been tooting this guy's horn for a long time, but oh boy, Chris Harris, my goodness. And the pass that he got from Lloyd Evans in the first place was amazing. That ended up putting LRZ away. But that's just how good he is, and he recognized. It takes a good player to stay switched on when you're running a line and it looks like it's lost, because Lloyd Evans had to stay alive to get that ball to him because there was a defender in the path. And Chris Harris is so good to just understand, all right, I'm not getting it behind. I'm going to get it when I get on the other side of this guy, and ran his line, held his line and just took off from there. And don't give that guy space because he makes people pay. And good on him. It was just, and he was pretty much everything good about what was going on with this Gloucester team. After that, it got a little dicey after that for a while. Rapava Ruskin was being a monster, but that's not a new thing there.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Still don't get the Ruan Ackerman at 8 thing.
No, that didn't make any sense.
Nope.
But what are you gonna do?
No.
Is there a bigger dick in Prem than John O. Ross right now?
Oh, absolutely not. So this is something I want to say for next week. We're going to talk about. There's two things I want to talk about next week in the Premiership before we get to Europe next week. One will be starting 10s, and one will be captains for the clubs.
Ooh.
And I want to talk about both those things, but there's way too much
going. Topics.
Those are way too much. There's way too much in the news cycle this week, and we'll bleed into friggin' 2 hours before we know it. So let's hold the water for that for a little bit.
We're good on that.
But yeah, no, he's an absolute jackass. I could not dislike a player much more than him, although I'm sure I've had a few that I dislike more. So, yeah, it's just just that's the technical term for Sale, right?
Yeah. But before we move on from this match, let's have our palate cleanse, and we'll talk about the opposite of John O. Ross, and of course that being Jordy Reed's bum budgie smugglers.
those are team issued budgies, by the way. Those have to be. Those 100% have to be. Jordy, tie your shorts, man.
Yeah. I missed the first one, and Jared's like, "How the hell did you miss that?" And then I was like, "Wait, now I got it."
Yeah, those are like hard to miss. Like those rival. God, was it Elof for the Rebels that had the pink budgies?
Yeah.
Those are team issued budgies. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Look, if you're not going to tie your shorts, at least wear something under your shorts.
At least you wore that.
And if you're gonna do that, wear those, because fuck yeah. That's great.
That's hilarious. Thank you, Jordan,
right.
for your comic relief.
Fuck that match. Right.
Next. Speaking of fuck that match. This is all right. So I'm gonna get this out of the way first, because it's gonna take a lot for me to say this. This is the best job I've seen George Ford use his foot with. I've not seen him do this with his kicking for a while.
And I will agree with a caveat. He's not going to have that wind every match.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
It wasn't just his boot. It was how he used the wind to just fuck with Bath. Absolutely. And Bath had no way of handling. I mean, that's what I don't get. They had guys like that. Their fullback, how far deep, and Ford's like, all right, I'm just going to get really high and really short and fuck.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you do it in like medium and let the wind carry it long. And who, I can't remember who knocked it on. Watson just knocked on an easy one because he didn't move his feet.
Right.
I mean, I'm not blaming him. It's just that's what happened.
That is what happened.
It was a shit wind. His feet were frozen. Wind. His feet was frozen where he was, and then he just reached out instead of moving his feet, and whatever. It happens to everyone. Well done for him. Ben Young, because we have to keep things. we have to have something about this. Ben Young still fucking sucks.
Yes, I mean, in that one play where he gave up the ball, and then George Ford gave away the penalty for going off his feet, which he was going off his feet. You're an idiot. Learn the rules. Learn the laws, you dipshit. But yeah, that's your Eddie. That's your starting 9 and 10 right there. Really, that's your starting 9 and 10. The fuck,
they were not good.
I mean,
Ford outside of his kicking, I didn't think it was very good.
No, but you know what? At least that's something he doesn't do ever. So I was impressed. I was at least impressed by that. I was like, all right, he never knows how to use his fucking foot, and when he tries to, he usually just cocks it up. So I wanted to at least get that out there to let everybody know I hate the guy still, but I can at least acknowledge when he does something right.
That makes me hate him more.
A little bit.
It's like, wait, you can do all this shit, and
I know. Well, that's the frustrating thing. Probably, it's like you have this ability, but you don't fucking do it. What's wrong with you?
Right. No? But yet, Sips get shit on for that kind of thing.
Oh God, fuck. Yeah.
I'm not letting that one go for a while.
No, definitely not.
Because he doesn't deserve that shit. So no, I'm gonna keep it up.
He does not deserve the copious amounts of bullshit he got, especially from the likes of Healy and Good.
I'm not feeling like I have any fucks left to give.
I am fresh out.
I have no filter today.
I am fresh out. I am super fresh out, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah. I mean, on the other side, obviously, he had a bad second half-ish. And Spencer's why he's not in an England team, I have no idea what he needs to do.
But the speed too.
He's kind of fast.
Oh. Yeah, you look at those two nines playing against each other, and you come away with Ben Youngs as the guy you want.
No.
I mean, that's got to be Six Nations. Spencer has to be at this point
to be on the squad
because you fucked around with Eddie. Eddie's fucked around with him too much at this point. Way too much.
I mean, if Ben Spencer's not in this Six Nations squad or the next squad in the fall, he has every right to say, fuck it, I'm going somewhere else where I can make more money.
Yeah.
I told him.
Go to France, go to whatever.
Whoever's going to pay him a shit ton more than he's making, do it. I would have no qualms about that whatsoever. He gets to do what he wants at that point. That's just how it is. But yeah, and then, the other fullback on the other side, people are really gushing about him, and I'm not sure I see it. And Freddie Stewart,
He was good. Yeah. He was good today, or well, this past weekend.
Yeah, but I don't see it enough though. That's the thing. Like,
okay, that's
one game
that's
does
fair.
not make
No,
one
it
game
doesn't.
does not make it. Like, okay, he was pretty
That's
good
fair.
this match, and he outdid Anthony Watson, who's definitely on the England squad.
Yeah, that's different because 15. I'm not big on the against your matchup because you rarely your opposite number because it's not all the time. Maybe nines and tens.
If we're comparing, I'm just saying if we're comparing,
who had a better game?
Either side, yeah,
yeah.
I'll give him that. So
yeah, but he also he found work, and when he the work that he did, he showed the fuck up. Like he was actually doing some good stuff every time he was around the ball, and that's why I'm like, whoa, he was really good. Why are we criticizing him? No, this was
it's just it's one does not do it enough for me. I'm just right. He needs to be a little more consistent before he gets anywhere near an England squad,
and that is fair. Yeah. Sorry. Oh yeah, for that level, yes. No, you show me more than one game against a team. And Bath, let's not mince words about Bath here. They are what's the word? Not good this year.
Yeah, they've been quite poor.
They've been shit. Unfortunately,
quite poor. And then as long as we're comparing England to England, Genj and Obano both should make England feel pretty good about what they got in the locker for a loose head. They both played quite well. Quite well.
Obano's that try that Obano got. I mean, it wasn't. Who won that for him? That was was it Ewells?
Might have been, yeah.
I think it was either Ewells or McNally, and it was definitely one of them.
Ewells. Yeah. It was McNally that took off.
Took the ball. Okay, yeah. So McNally grabbed the ball, and Obano was right with him, so we got the benefit. But well done with that sneaky.
Yeah, that.
I love that shit, man. Getting in a mall, fucking it up. I miss Maro Itoje.
We all do.
Miss watching him.
He's a gift.
And seeing him do stuff like that. So thank you, Josh, for being Maro-esque for a shining moment.
For a minute. Okay.
Falatau had a good match, I thought.
Yeah, he was solid. That
I like him at 6.
That was a good back row for them. That was
him and Mercer together. Yummy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should play more often. I believe so.
And the other guy too was all right. Yeah. Aside from the penalties.
Yeah, helmet. He was not good. He was not good in that aspect.
No.
Oh, all right. Let's look at the Champions League.
Let's not.
Had some upside down shit going on with FRD, obviously, with the fact that we're missing 2 matches, so 4 teams. We had the hiccup with the server having a meltdown, so that was kind of oops, but just the same. Mark took down Ben emphatically. Somehow, some way, I beat Duncan, and I had one starting OB, and he was not even my best scorer in that position.
Wow,
man, I can't explain that. This is the fun part of fantasy rugby. George finally gets a win.
Nice.
He took down Justin, and then the battle of the unbeatens was quite a letdown.
Yeah, it was over by
it was over by the first game.
Yeah.
God. So Anton took down Carrick. Oh man. Any movement there was almost no movement.
I don't think so.
In the leaderboard.
No.
Which was pretty crazy.
Not for TRM, no.
Yeah, I mean, I grabbed the top score of the week, but that didn't do me a whole lot of good because I'm still sitting.
Right. Everyone's still kind of like because it was a shit week. It was such
it was not a great week. By
like when I think the number one in the competition got like 450 or something like that. That's a bad week.
I had 401. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good. I had 388. Not terrible. Everyone was round 3. Actually, it's funny. Like everyone was. Carrick is still struggling to get back to form. But everyone else, he was 305 this week. But everyone else got in like the 350s to 400. That was it. So it was within the 50-point range. Nobody's moving around at that point.
Yeah. What happened to Carrick there? Good Lord. How did Mark not catch him? Oh, he's only 2 points behind him now, though.
Yeah, he's right. He's right there.
That makes way more sense now. I understand. Yeah, and Justin had that.
Oh no, Carrick had a lot of zeros.
Yeah. Oh, I remember seeing his team. I was like, how
Oh
the hell did he pull this
no.
off?
How do you pull that? How do you have zeros instead of?
Well, he had Kirsten and Kirsten didn't play, so he kind of had a brain fart on that. Woolmore,
Yeah,
Vui, Rafael, Velicott, all 0 on his bench. McGuigan was
that's
0 on his
yeah.
bench.
Oh, because I mean,
I had to eat 1-0.
damn, because I'm looking at my points and I'm like, well, I just if I had his position, so little insider information about the way the pros do it. If you're struggling and you're like, I don't know that so and so is going to score many points, and especially in a situation like this, like Dom Brandt, I started Dom Brandt this week because I'm like, he'll get me 18 to 20 points, and I don't know if I can get anybody else who's going to get to that level. So put him in. I'll take the points there.
Yeah.
And did it on my bench too for a couple
Yeah,
positions.
I had a bunch of guys on my bench that were not playing because of cancellations.
Yeah. Right. And you just take the points.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta take the points.
But you gotta have the right makeup of your team.
Yeah. Let's see what happens this coming week. Oh, here we go. So Ben and Duncan are gonna do battle in FRD.
Got you, Dunk.
It'll be George and Anton. That'll be interesting. Carrick and Mark, and then I get a piece of Justin. That'll be interesting. We obviously now know that we have two teams that are not available for the weekend, with Northampton giving up their match. Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, Northampton and Leicester will not be playing. So same thing. If you have a Saints player or a Tiger, and you're not sure about what to do with a specific position, fuck it.
Throw that in there, and you never know.
Take the points.
Yeah, sometimes you just get some points, and it's not a bad idea. See what I got here.
What's that? Sorry. Oh yeah, using the bottle. Nice.
Using the soda stream.
Give Jared recently purchased a home, so of course you got to give your boyfriend a housewarming present.
Your other husband,
right? Wait, no.
I believe that was the term that your wife used.
Oh, no. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, that we had to give the Jareds a soda stream is what we did. So I wasn't sure. Because the best part was I asked Jared at one point, like, hey, do you guys have interest in like a soda stream or an air fryer or something like that? And he was like, yeah, either will do, whatever. And of course, every time I've been there, Jared's had like a seltzer or something, like a can.
Yeah, something else.
And I'm like, you know what? We have a soda stream and we fucking love it. We've stopped buying cans and bottles, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
we drank our last can this weekend.
Yeah, so maybe they'd like that, and apparently that was.
Now all we need is like a beer factory to just pump out beer into a kegerator or something. Then they'll never have a can.
Oh, you want a home brewery system? Okay. That's not
yeah. I'm sure that'll be cheap to get that going. All right. Let's do start set. I will start because Ben's game get bagged.
I only have two teams, so two matches. So.
I will sandwich
you start.
So let's go to one of the Friday matches, Sale and Worcester. So Wasps are still a little meh when it comes to starting points, but they're getting better. So, and then Sale are just struggling to score points in general. 1 second, let me just pull up my sheet here.
What you mean? Wait, what? Oh, you're going. Okay, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, go for it.
But yeah, Sale are just generally struggling to score points, fantasy wise, in general. So for Sale, if you have him and you haven't played him yet, the hell's wrong with you? AJ McGinty. He's got to be, if he's on your TRM squad, number one, if he's not, get him. Number two, if he's on your TRM squad and you've been starting somebody else, find another spot. Unless it's Marcus Smith, that's the only person I'm accepting there. Is if it's Marcus Smith,
right?
But other than that, it's got to be him right now. He's been a lot better than pretty much most of the TRM 10s, and he's definitely been good in FRD as well. Josh Beaumont, if he's back and he's starting, people
good option
on him. Yeah, go for it. And he's not super expensive, so give it a go. And then JP Dupria, if he's back, even if Beaumont's back, I think he's going to play too. Stay pat. I know he did have a bad week last week, I think there's more good than bad to come from him. So.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. I'm shocked that Visa had such a good week.
Yeah, and that was
fantasy points wise.
It wasn't that good of a week. You talking about Jasper? Or you talking about Kobus? Because Kobus was shit.
He was shit, but he got 12. He got 18 points in TRM. So
yeah, that's
somehow
that ain't that good of a week. Trust me.
Yeah.
Speaking of him, yeah, I'm over him. I'm over him. Ditch him, and if you're stuck with him in FRD, Godspeed.
Yeah. You shouldn't be, because it's very easy to find a replacement.
There's got to be somebody else better than him out there. Faf, just stop. Why he's still pretty highly owned, which is really kind of unnerving. It's like, how do you have this high of an ownership in this thing? I don't get it. So no, just stay away. He's been terrible in terms of that. Like, he'll have one good game and people are gonna go, oh yeah, he's good. No, he's not. He's 17% owned. How is he 17% owned? I don't get it. I do not get it. Get rid of him. And then John Ross has no bang. Like, yes, he starts, and yes, he gets some tackles. Just, it's not enough. There's better options in both formats. Just gone. On the other side, did I say Was? I meant Worcester.
Yeah, I thought that's what I thought, but then I've had a beer and then maybe a smoke. So
you know what?
I thought you said Worcester.
I crossed up the two teams, the two Friday games. I had Sale and Was. Nope. Okay. I see things sometimes. Anyway, yeah, Worcester. Worcester
thought I misheard.
No, you're correct.
Forgot what you said.
Worcester are also middling in terms of fantasy, a little bit more susceptible in FRD, but so yeah, there's that. Anyway, on the other side, Worcester, Niall Annette might be an okay play, although if JP Dupree is in the Sale lineup, I'd be a little worried. But he does do a lot in the loose, so it's not so bad. Billy Searle's actually kind of good when it comes to fantasy, especially in FRD. But if you have him, you might have landed a little nugget there where you can play him every once in a while, and he's probably not going to be too expensive on sitting in your squad, so you might be okay with that. If he's in the lineup, play him. And Cornell Dupree scores at a decent clip, so if you have him, play him. I know Sale do quite well against loose forwards in general, but there's always one that scores well, so I got to figure the guy that's starting with the ball at the back of the scrum is going to at least have a shot. On the other side, I have three names that I would only recommend you play in FRD: Nanai, Howe, and Venter, and just don't touch them otherwise. They don't produce. You're looking at 14 to 18 points each in TRM. It's not enough. Like, if you want to get one of those big weeks of 500 points, you need guys that hit about 20 on in your squad. So they are not going to be those guys, especially against this team.
Right. All right, on to the actual Wasps match
and Bath
versus Bath at the Rec. So for Bath, so the way I'm going to do these at this point, as you noticed, if you noticed, we're just talking about a couple people on each squad. I'm going to talk about who's trending good, who's trending bad, and what to think of each of them. Falatow and Mercer looked strong together, and then both put up decent fantasy points. I was really pissed about Mercer because I captained him. And he had at one point a fantastic fantasy score, and then he missed 2 tackles.
And that 100%
had 11 tackles. He had the 100% bonus, and then all of a sudden it went away. So it kind of hurt his cause a little bit, but still. I was like, that's bullshit. Mercer does not miss tackles. So, but apparently he did.
Rarely does.
Ben Spencer, as you mentioned, got a little loose on the scoreboard, and yes, he's one trending good. He may be coming good. So
turning into positive.
Keep an eye out. Yes. On the other side, Rocco Duguni and Watson are just yuck fantasy wise. Yuck.
Right. No, they're not good.
No. And then Reese Priestland, he's still getting healthy, like we talked about Piatow earlier. He obviously, but a little bit more recent injury and not as bad. But Priestland still kind of returning. I would like a little bit stronger performance this week. So hopefully he can turn it around. He's not one that I would say to take out of your lineup just yet. If he's a worthy start.
Mm-hmm.
You just hope he does a little better. He should do a little bit better.
Correct.
Rakadaguni and Watson knew. No. On the other side of the field, the visitors, they have a couple guys who are just fucking putting up fantasy points. Gaskell, we mentioned him a little bit. In FRD, he's a lock. Get him the fuck on your team if he's available.
He definitely won me that week against Duncan. I can promise you that.
And maybe not TRM. I'm not sure how expensive he is. I haven't looked him up, but if he's cheap, you can grab him. I don't know, but I have the feeling he's kind of expensive because he's a fucking veteran.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
So he may not be worth it, but give him a look. But the next three you might want to be having on your team. Paolo Dogwu is just fucking lighting it up. And I think is he? Let me see.
Gaskell's 217.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
No.
That's somebody who, yes. Look for him on your team, or look for him out there.
There you go.
Get it. Anyway, Paolo Dogwu has shown that he will score from any position, and just put up some points.
Good for him. No more kung fu kicks.
Yeah, none of those. But points, yes. Dan Robson and Bassett, even if he poops out towards the try line.
Oh God, I thought he put cement shoes on that one. I was like, whoa, well, that's not Josh Bassett, is it?
Right,
imposter.
And then trending bad for Wasps. Jacob Umaga is I'm looking to get rid of him in my TRM. I may hold on to him because of the center, the different positions he can play, but he's riding a struggle bus. And then we mentioned before, Le Bourgeois and De Jong. No, even if there's just one of them, they're not worth starting. Yes, I know. Yeah. I think Le Bourgeois had a big week the other week with Odogwu outside of him, I think. But that just happens. That I think you don't expect that every week. They shouldn't be
sure
teams in any format.
Found a try, like it was.
Just that's what it was. It was like an interception or something.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He got
anyway,
a bit lucky.
Those guys don't know.
No, agreed. Right. Newcastle and Gloucester. Gloucester are middling in what's the word? FRD rather. Kind of they're approaching tough, and then they're actually getting pretty tough on a average basis here in TRM. But there's still some goodies to find in the Falcons. I nabbed this guy last week, and if you haven't yet, go get him. Philip Vanderwalt. He played very well, and I think he's going to be their 8 when all are healthy. I think he's going to be their 8. So, Graham will probably come in and play either 6 or 7. So, go ahead and give the thumbs up to that. McGuigan's still good. I know he didn't play last week, but assuming he gets healthy, that's still a guy to play, and he's not super expensive and all that good stuff. And then my guy, Cookie, he's took a shitload of tries for this team in the championship last year, and he picked up where he left off. So trust me, grab that guy, put him in your team. He's probably worth it. He didn't do a lot TRM wise last week, but I think he'll be a little bit better this week because they'll feed him the ball a little bit more, I believe. On the other side, Conan or really even Flood, I wouldn't play either one of them.
No,
but definitely not Conan. Burrell, yuck.
Maybe Conan in FRD just for the kicking points.
I mean, if he can fucking land a goddamn kick. He was struggling with that too.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah. And Radwan, who's got loads of pace, he's a FRD only option right now. He's not done well since week 1 against Bath, and Bath are one of the leakiest teams in the league. So, nah. On the other side, Gloucester, assuming 12 trees doesn't get any sort of ban, give him a thumbs up because he's going to probably have the T. Considering that Lloyd Evans doesn't know where the posts are, it seems at some points. Ed Slater, yummy. I love this dude right now. Locking FRD and TRM. Just give it to him. And I think he's flanker eligible in TRM too. So that gives you a little bit of a movement there. So.
And this is coming from me, who, if you have been paying attention at the beginning of the season, was down on Ed Slater. I started him this past week. So, yes,
good on her.
with you, Jared.
Dude's a good one. And then the Gloucester front row has actually found a way to be good in FRD. So go ahead and give that a thumbs up. Quite good between Singleton and Rapava Ruskin and those boys. They and Ford Robinson.
Ford Robinson's had it. You had a big week.
Forget that. Yeah, give it a thumbs up. Go.
And Balmain had a big week this week. So
yeah, who the fuck saw that coming? Not me. Oh yeah. On the other side, Johnny May, FRD only. He's still in the final.
Still don't expect anything from him.
Yeah, right. The name is really what gets you there. Lloyd Evans has been not great when we talk about
fantasy wise. No.
Yeah, we talk about guys that are trending the wrong way in fantasy. That is one guy that is going the wrong direction. And then he just put a good performance in, but in general, he's kind of expensive and not producing a ton. Balmain is a little bit the one guy on that front row that I'm just like, me. Yeah. Please don't.
Right.
So no Fraser Balmain.
On to Exeter versus Bristol. For the hosts, trending good. Don Armand, if he's playing, he's in your lineup.
Yeah, I'm amazed. Good for him.
Just like before, it might be a little bit difficult to have to keep him around. I'm not sure. Just like Gaskell in TRM, but in FRD, he should. Yeah, he's worth having as a bench player just when he plays. Even at lock, obviously he just put up fucking points this week.
Right.
Whoever's at hooker is going to play well and get you points.
Yep.
So and just the front row in general usually gets points. And we talk about him a lot. I'm now paying off on the tease from earlier. Sam Simmons had an okay TRM week because he made a shit ton of tackles. But that was about it. FRD, he was what, like a 6 or a 7, which is
he did not have much. That's
a jag. He had a jag score.
He did.
And I think the reason he had a jag score, and I said it, the Wasps defense, but specifically their mobile pack. They were all over the pitch, really giving him no room. So they basically, I think, not so much put a spy on him, but basically gave 2 guys in the defensive line the responsibility of shutting down Sam Simmons, because those lines he runs off of his brother. Somehow he disappears, and they're like, no, we're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, I'm guessing Tom Willis had something to do with that.
Right. And Bristol are again a very mobile pack, so he's kind of running into the same problem in this match. So just like I did, and as I said earlier, I captained Zach Mercer.
Yeah.
I picked the wrong captain, but I was right to not pick Sam Simmons as my captain, because he also didn't have much of a game. Same thing in this week. Play him, but don't expect much. Don't captain.
Possibly consider something else.
Right. On the trending bad side for Exeter, their entire back line is just kind of yucky. Starting from their 9.
Yeah. Oh man, that 9's a hole right now. Like I picked up Hidalgo Klein thinking he wasn't going to be as terrible as Monder, and he was. He was
negative. Yeah. And Joe Simmons, I'm considering him a fantasy risk for TRM. So
probably,
he does have the 3rd most points, but he's played every match, which is unlike even, I think, AJ in front of him hasn't played every match. And maybe even didn't Marcus Smith miss a match?
Marcus Smith missed a match.
And they are all well ahead of Sam Simmons. So Joe Simmons in terms of points. And it's both divisions. He's in both formats. He's the 3rd overall, and it's by a lot. So I think there's better options, and obviously in FRD you keep him around. You drafted him in the 1st round or 2nd round if you had a weird league. So you keep him around because he's going to get you the points every week. But in TRM, this was the week that I drop, and I've been looking to figure out how to free up some money.
I ditched him.
It's going to be, I'm dropping him for AJ, and that'll also, because it's such a cost difference, that'll help me drop Cobus Vies.
Oh yeah, I got. It's funny.
I did already. I did already. Good for me.
I think you and I might be getting rid of the same 2 players. I got rid of Vies as well.
No, yeah, I already got rid of him. I already got rid of Vies, so I'm gonna figure out who else to get rid of.
Wrong Vies to have. Jasper's the one to have. Right now.
That's right. I'm going in that direction. So yeah, the Joe Simmons, if he as I said, FRD play him because you'll get the points. But he's not going to be the best fly half, but he's also not going to be the worst. On the Bristol end, the two loose forwards you mentioned earlier, Hughes and Luatua, can they keep it up? I don't see any reason why they can't. Even if it is against Bristol, against Exeter. Exeter, the shine is off of Exeter now officially, even if it wasn't before. Even if they're not that. The Wasps took it to them.
They get and we didn't even mention Cy McIntyre doing the double as well. So good on those boys. They put in a shift.
And Bristol can do the same. I don't know about the fantasy points, how that's going to fit in, but I would still Hughes and Luatua are starts right now. Owen Lloyd has never started versus Exeter. I'm looking, but he's been putting up points, so I'm looking to see what he can do. Callum Sheedy last year versus Exeter scored 30 points in both matches.
Hello.
Just a hint. Just a hint.
Just a thought.
just a thought.
Just a thought.
And trending bad for Bristol. Piers O'Connor has been he's had 2 bad weeks in a row.
Man.
At 12. And that's tough because that 12 position.
It is. Siali Piatau is better suited for that 12 position.
Yeah, but he still doesn't get fantasy points generally. So it's a fantasy hole, the 12 position, if you haven't noticed. And so it's just tough for Piers. So hopefully he can push him out on the wing or something. But the other guy, now Lago, he can finish as we saw, but he doesn't find work yet. He's still in that when the ball comes to him, but the ball has to come to him. So I need him to be a little bit more engaged and he's learning. He's getting better at it, as we saw. Fuck. Yeah. Just like, yep. On your left. Oh, okay. Here you go.
Oh, that's where that goes. Got it.
Right.
Ooh, that's where it goes.
That's one of those, like, Sheedy is like, why are you? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you take it.
Here we go. Now we got it.
I thought I was gone, but this guy, no, he's gone.
He can run way faster than me.
Yeah, I'll let him take it the rest of the way.
Yeah, do that.
But I want to see him do that from deeper, and I want to see him score 50-meter tries and stuff like that. But then that's going to come with him inserting himself more in the middle of the field in open play.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Quins and Irish. Irish should be pretty fresh for this one, having not played for the last 2 weeks. Also could be rust. Irish are quite generous in TRM, so feel pretty good about a lot of positions going into this one. Not nearly as generous in FRD, so just kind of temper the expectations there. So, I mean, if I need to tell you this at this point, please send me your address so I can come there and slap you. Marcus Smith should be your guy. He should be your kicker too in TRM if he's playing. Like, don't question it. Just do it.
Right.
This is one of those things you do not question why. Just do it. Okay, promise. Scott Baldwin, good to go. He's probably back at hooker this week, so he finds ways to score. He always does. It doesn't matter if it's a team.
Yeah, he's not flashy. But he puts up points.
He tackles, he hits his line out throws, and if a maul is called on a 5-meter line, he usually can make sure that he falls over the line. So he's good to go. And then I'm gonna give Will Evans a thumbs up this week. I think he's they need a fetcher, obviously, and he's pretty good at it. And like I said,
he gave him a look.
This squad kind of likes to league points. They're number 10 in TRM against flankers, and then they're actually top 5 against loose forwards. But I think Will Evans will still find a way to make it happen. So go ahead and give him a thumbs up. On the other side, no Chisholms, like never.
No,
the word is never.
No.
Never, no. So no Chisholms. Doesn't matter what position they're playing. No. Joe Marchant is an FRD only option right now because I just don't see it happening in TRM these days.
He can't see the pitch somehow.
Yeah, somehow. But also, like, even when he's seen it, like, he's either been against top opposition or just kind of had a bad game. So FRD only because you picked him probably for that. So got to play him while you have him because he's probably going back there in a few weeks. And then, I mean, he gets suspended, but Esterhazen, I got to see it from him now. He's, it's just kind of been bleh. So that's a nah for it. FRD only if needed. That's it. On the other side for the Irish, Ollie Hoskins is still one of the best scoring props, and that's terrifying to think about because there's been guys that have been playing more. So yeah, give him a nod. Brophy Clues, if he plays at 10 or 12, I think I'm okay with it. He looks he looks to be super full of life and very talented. So if he gets a nod, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a thumbs up. And then his potential halfback partner Nick Phipps actually should be a decent play as well. He scores quite well in TRM at the very least when he's in. On the other side, Ben Loader's an FRD only option for me right now. I love the kid, but yeah, just man, that's the only place I'd put him in.
It's rough.
I know lots of people are going to be.
He'll be all right. I mean, he'll put up points, but he's got to play. I mean, they just haven't played long enough.
No, I know. We'll see what they look like when they're banging off the rust here.
Yeah.
Tom Homer's way too highly owned. I don't understand. Just much no. I hope he's not your outside back in
big old bucket of nope.
Yeah, that's a nope salad right there. And then I love the guy, but Billy Meeks has not put up points. You know, I really like the guy, but he's just
you do.
He's not putting up points.
And he's not.
That's a no. So have him a bench, especially if Esther Hazen's in the middle. Like there was no room before, there's gonna be even less if he's in the middle. So no. Oh yeah. You want to do your start of the week?
My start of the week is someone who I've mentioned a couple times this pod. All he's been doing is putting up points. And so what am I going to do but have him as my start of the week? And unless I've used him recently, which I don't think I have, it's going to be Paolo Odogwu. And assuming
I don't think you have. If you have, I don't remember it.
Civ, as you mentioned, Civ of a defense in Bath. And the guy just runs and nobody stops him when he does. So it seems like
about that.
So when I look at this matchup, he's my start of the week.
Nice. That's a good one. No, you have not used him yet. So
woohoo.
All right. So my start of the week, going against same team, going against a really, really porous defenses. As much as I like the club and the players that are on the club, they're just this kid's obviously dynamite, and he just finds ways to score points, especially in TRM where there's so many more ways to score it. But just feel good about starting him this week. My start of the week is the Wasp flanker and wonder sensation Jack Willis.
That's not a bad pick. But yeah, and it's easy. He's extremely easy to replace if he's not playing. Whoever's in his place, he's just gonna be starting.
Yeah, just play that.
Right. Flankers against Bath do kind of okay. So
yeah, but it's Jack Willis at the same time.
No, I meant exactly. No, they do very well.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
As for my sit of the week, again, a position that we've mentioned and I mentioned, and I think I called it yuck, and Jared, I think he got there before me. I'm not going to list a name because I don't know who it is yet, but it's whoever's wearing the 9 on Exeter.
Oh my God, yes. God, yes.
Do not, probably under any circumstances.
It'll probably be Monder, but yeah.
It's probably be Monder, but under any circumstances, if you're like, oh man, I lost Alex Mitchell this week, I don't have him. Look elsewhere, or at the very least, don't start anybody because these guys are getting negative numbers. Both of them,
right? It's pretty crazy.
So it's not worth it, and that's a couple of weeks in a row now that they're getting negative numbers in FRD. No, don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah. Oh man, what is Monder's ownership percentage? It's not. It's extremely high for where I would want it.
Right. I think I had it at first because he was really cheap, but then
12%. Why do 12% of you have Jack Monder? I don't understand.
How much does he cost?
He's cheap. I understand that.
Well, yeah. No, I'm not asking for that reason. I just don't know how much he costs.
229, which is not super cheap, but
that's not super cheap.
Cheap enough. But still, like, he's so much. He's scored 60 points and he's played every match this year, I believe.
Right.
Like, holy shit. I think he's missed one match.
Mickey Young is 219 and he's got 76 points. And he also didn't play this past.
He did not play this past weekend at all.
He came on as a sub either. Right.
No.
So there you go. If you have, for those of you, for whatever fucking reason, have Jack Maunder on your team, drop him for Mickey Young this week and thank
There's
him.
your answer.
Or do something else, but don't do that.
Do something.
At least in TRM. But yeah, in FRD, don't know. No.
God, just find someone else. Like almost anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Hell, Andy Urine.
Yeah. I think
he's on the bench.
Yeah, I know, right?
Find a bench.
You and I are gonna be a little bit on the opposite side of this. My sit of the week is going against the staunchest defense in fantasy right now. I know they just surrendered a bucket of points, but I also think that means they're going to be mad. So considering that, guys at this position tend to fall into a hole against Exeter, I'm going to go ahead and pick the former paperweight as my sit of the week. That would be Mr. Nathan Hughes.
Yeah, that's a I'll be on the opposite side of that. He's too expensive to.
I know it's hard to sit him.
It's really right. So if you have him, it's hard to sit him, but at the same time, it's hard to have him. So this is not the week to pick him up. This is not the week to say, you know what?
Yeah,
he's good. I'll pick him up.
Maybe that's more of a warning to people that saw last week's score and go, ooh, grab him. No.
Wait till next week.
Don't touch.
Yeah.
Bad touch, Ricky. All right, let's do pick him and we can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Bath Wasps.
Wasps.
Sale Worcester.
Sale, yeah. I want a reason to pick Worcester.
Same, but I can't find one.
But and it comes down to something we've been talking about in our amongst our Champions League members. But Worcester are 11th in the league in tries with only 6.
Right.
And Sale are one of the best defenses. So I'm going with Sale.
There's the answer. Therein lies your answer. Exeter and Bristol.
I'm going with my heart. I'm going with Bristol.
I know
it's not. And I also don't. I think Exeter. I think getting fucked out of the Champions Cup as Exeter have been essentially, unless a miracle occurs, has gotten in their head because they cannot do the double now. And I think that if not repeating it the double, as much as we talked about them coming out fucking hair on fire, I think that being taken away from them may have kind of fucked with them because they had a shaky match 2 weeks ago, and then they lost this past week big. They're not what they were. And Bristol, outside of a one half and maybe another match here or there, it's really been on them that have been kind of fucking themselves over. So. I'm going to go with Bristol.
Okay. Yeah, I am going to take the Chiefs just because I feel like they don't lose back to back very often.
Well, they don't lose very often.
No, also that. Also that. Newcastle and Gloucester. I'm going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, me too.
At home.
Crazy.
At home.
Way
the fuck up there. Yep. That's a rough trip. I'm going to take them. Quins and Irish in a good old London derby. They're at the Stoop. I'm going to take the Quins, and both teams are actually well rested too. So
right, they're both well rested, but the Quins are a little bit better than the Irish. So just a little bit, but no, they're a lot better.
Agreed.
Quins, I think hopefully their time off helps them right the ship a little bit. They've been
they were stumbling.
Weird.
They were stumbling a little bit.
Yeah, but I think hopefully this gets their legs back under them. And the Irish, they've been playing above their heads, so maybe this is the week they come back to earth a little bit.
Crashing back to earth. Okay, well, so we got one more week, and then we're back into Champions Cup. And it'll be fun. And then the final weekend of Champions Cup, don't forget, we'll be doing our podcast of episode.
We will, our 100th episode.
It'll be fun. I'm really, if you can't tell, I'm really excited about this. So, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. Anyway, but before that, we'll come back next week. You've already gotten a teaser about what might be on tap, so don't forget to stop by. Buy Georgia Coffee, get your TRM upgrades. Download, rate us, review us, tell us we suck, tell us we're great, don't give a shit. But either way, we'll catch you guys next week, and thanks for hanging out with us. Have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.